Hey there, guys. My name is Brandon, aka Suns Geek, and if it has to deal with the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to make a video about it. That is right, you guys. The Phoenix Suns defeat the Philadelphia 76ers to win their fifth game in a row. They beat them 120 to like 111 or something. I am here with
You are
someone who I
hype.
consider a good friend of mine, fellow NBA YouTuber, and huge Sixers fan, huge Boban Marjanovic fan. Romp 2.0, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. That was a fun game to watch. I mean, the stars showed up. Devin
Yeah.
Booker. I mean, I think he has to be an all-star consideration. I mean, in the beginning of the season, he kind of started off slow, but in the last 6 games, bro, he's killing it. He had 36 against Cleveland, 30 against Milwaukee, 36 against the Sixers. He's averaging 26 points a game in February. I mean, this dude is unbelievable, and I was just having fun watching. Even though I'm a Sixers fan, you got to respect good players. You know what I'm saying? So Devin Booker put on a show in the third quarter. He started off slow though. Like Ben Simmons was kind of D'ing him up in the beginning,
Yeah.
but not in the second half. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about like what did you think of like the pace of this game? Because the Suns with Chris Paul, they like to play slow, and obviously your Sixers are a really good defensive team. And I feel like, especially in the first half, we kind of talked about it, like the pace of the game was kind of weird. I feel like it was kind of a low scoring game, despite it being over 100 points. Like especially in the first quarter, I feel like it was a really low scoring game.
I'll say this. I think it was like a weird start because I mean a 3 p.m. start. At
Yeah,
least that's where my time is.
right.
So like I think the players are kind of just getting used to that time. And I don't know. I think that had a lot to do with the slow and weird start because I even texted you. I was like, this is
Yeah.
a weird game so far.
Exactly. No, I mean, it was a good game though. Like overall, it was a really entertaining game. It was really close. The Suns did a really good job of containing the Sixers every time they took a lead. As much as I criticized the Suns defense this year, the Suns defense was here tonight. It arrived. We talked about it before too. The Phoenix Suns bench was absolutely incredible tonight. I'm
Oh
going to get to that a little bit later. And I hate to do this right now, but I want to read you some stats about Joel Embiid and DeAndre Ayton. Joel Embiid versus DeAndre Ayton is averaging 37 and a half points per game, 17 and a half rebounds per game, 3 steals, and only has 7 fouls on Ayton going into this game. DeAndre Ayton's only averaging 17 and 10 versus Embiid. Embiid
yeah.
absolutely killed us tonight.
I mean,
He
like
killed us.
that's a bad stat for DeAndre Ayton, but you got to keep in
Yeah,
mind Embiid is one of the best players in the league, so that's just kind of how it is.
right.
Um,
Especially
but
this year
yeah,
since he's playing at an
DeAndre Ayton
MVP
was
level.
yeah, DeAndre Ayton was kind of a non-factor today,
Yeah.
and I think Sarge was even a better
Mhm.
matchup on Embiid. I think Embiid kind of got flustered by the quickness of Sarge. Like
Yeah.
sometimes that could happen. Like you see, PJ Tucker kind of had some like good games against Anthony Davis,
Yep.
but like in a 7 game series, that's not going to work. But in just like a 1 game one-off, like it could fluster a big man because they're not used to going up against that speed. So I think Dario did a good job. I mean, Embiid still got his buckets, but
Right.
the Suns like in doubling Embiid really contained them pretty well, I think, and he still had like 37 points, but I think
Yeah.
their
No.
defense was huge in the second half.
And it's funny that you mentioned Dario Sarge because this was his first game in 33 days. And I even said it in our little live stream last night. I don't know what we can expect out of Dario Sarge when he returns, but obviously he's been putting in the work. He looked healthy out there. He was good offensively, defensively, just kind of making things tough on Joel Embiid as much as he possibly could. I mean, they were obviously teammates, so he probably remembers how to guard him. But Dario Sarge, in my opinion, as great as Devin Booker was, he was the player of the game. The Sixers went on an early 7-0 run, but kind of like I said, the Suns did a good job of just keeping this game close, not letting the game get too out of hand. We already talked about the weird tempo. Ben Simmons defensively, in my opinion. I don't really know about the second half, but first half he was great on defense. Let's talk about the shooting percentages. At the end of like the first and halftime, the Suns and Sixers were shooting lights out. It was just
Yeah,
one of those games. Like the shooting percentages were insane this game.
I think the big thing over the game was the bench scoring, and the Suns had 29 bench points in the first
Yeah.
half. The Sixers only had 10. The Sixers are missing Shake Milton, And the crazy thing about that is Shake Milton was kind of playing like like fans were kind of like scared just because he wasn't playing like he was in the beginning of the season, but he still averages 14 points a game. And seeing today, like I miss Shake Milton so much, and that was huge because Tyrese Maxey just doesn't look like he has any confidence right now. Furkan is like they're making Furkan do too much. He's just let him do a spot up shooting. No more dribbling from Furkan. But the bench was huge. Sarge had 8 points in the first half, completely changed the momentum of the game. Like he brought that energy, and that just went throughout the team. Like I think DeAndre Ayton needs to look at Sarge and adapt that type of energy, because if he brings that energy every night, if he's not scoring, at least he has the energy. Like it just seemed like Ayton was asleep tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I've told you this before, man. It's really alarming when I have to say that DeAndre Ayton is in the game sometimes and he's not. Whenever DeAndre Ayton wants to play, that's the thing. I shouldn't be saying that about a number one overall pick. And I thought maybe the first couple minutes he was going to have a good game. I mean, Embiid hit a jump shot early in his face, and then I think Ayton responded with a jump shot of his own. But then after that, he was just a complete non-factor. I think at the end of the first quarter, Ayton only had 5 rebounds and 2 points. If DeAndre Ayton would have played like Dario Saric did tonight, no offense, but this game would have been a blowout. If Ayton would have had one of his big-time games, this game would have been a blowout. I'm going to jump into the box score real quick. The Suns shot an incredible 60.8, so basically 61% from the field. Again, the Sixers did shoot well. They shot 52% from the field. That's really good. The three-point shooting tonight was interesting. The Sixers hit 7 threes. The Suns only hit 10, but that's still pretty good. Yeah, it's 41 and 40% for both teams.
There's kind of a little trend going on with the Sixers. Their three-point shooting is kind of they're just getting beat by the other team every night in terms of three-point shooting.
Right.
And with shooters like Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, that just shouldn't happen. And then you got shooters off the bench too. So that's kind of a concern for me as I've been looking at, because Portland, last game when the Sixers played, Portland stayed in that game from three-point shooting. Like we were dominating, but they just kept hitting threes, and it adds up. So that's a little concern for my team. I gotta stay on that. And
but
Ben Simmons, bro. In the past couple games, like you saw him in the first half, he was unstoppable. Like he was literally like just like I think he had like a dunk on Aiden or someone just pushed him out of the way.
Yeah.
In the first half, he had 16 points. He finished the game with like 18.
18 points.
I think he had 14 points in the first half. But that can't happen. Like our offense was just Joel Embiid in the second half, and he can't win it on his own. Tobias Harris was invisible as well. So that's another sign of concern for the Sixers. And this is 2 playoff teams we just faced, the Trailblazers and the Suns, and that's 2 losses. And we kind of had an easy schedule. So as a Sixers fan, I'm kind of getting scared.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say Tobias Harris was invisible. I kind of agree with you, but it's weird because he had 18 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. But I feel like he wasn't really in the game in a way. Joel Embiid, 35 points, 8 rebounds. Ben Simmons, 18 points, like you said. I mean, that's what he finished with. Seth Curry, I wanted to ask you about Seth Curry. I feel like he kind of got off to a slow start. 35 minutes, only 10 points. What did you think of Seth Curry tonight?
Ever since he's got back from COVID, there's been issues, but he's still shooting very good.
Yeah.
He missed a free throw, and that was his first miss of the season.
He missed his first couple shots too.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about him. I'm more worried about his health, like because there's one game where he just sat out the second half because Doc Rivers said in the post-game press conference that he just wasn't feeling good. So I think he's still recovering from COVID. So that's a little concern, but I think he'll be good by the end of the season. I mean, he's still shooting very well, even though this game he kind of struggled.
Exactly. No. So before we continue, once again, I am live with my good friend and fellow NBA YouTuber, Romp 2.0, one of the biggest Sixers fans I've ever met. Go subscribe to Romp 2.0, link down below in the description. My name is Suns Geek if you are joining me for the first time. And if you guys are generous enough to do so, make sure to donate with Super Chat. All that money will be invested back into the channel so I can make these live streams better for you guys. And once again, go subscribe to Romp 2.0. He makes great basketball content. Let's keep reading the box score here.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Now, I've been kind of watching Suns games recently, and Mikal Bridges, he kind of looked invisible tonight, and I feel like he could do more on offense. Like you see like little glimpses of his jump shot here and there. Even today, he had like one in the first half. He like banked it off the glass. And like a lot of times he just sits in the corner on offense. And I don't know. I feel like they could use him more often. Like maybe let him get a pick and roll here and there, like I'm not saying he should be running the offense, but here and there, give him some control. Like let him like unleash Mikal Bridges a bit.
Yeah.
Like there's just too many times, in my opinion, from when I watch the Suns. Now I don't watch the Suns as much as you, but it's just like he's just standing in the corner and he just becomes a spot up shooter. And I feel like he could be much more than that. Like he reminds me of a Jeremy Grant type player. I think he has a lot of offensive ability. It's just like if he can get the opportunity and confidence in that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was weird for Mikal Bridges tonight. Only 24 minutes, 1 for 5 from the field, 4 points. Now, I forgot who he was guarding all game, but he's been really inconsistent, especially with his 3-point shot. I feel like ever since he got off to that hot start in the season, especially from 3, he hasn't been making his threes. But I agree with you. I mean, it would be interesting to see a game where they just give him the ball like nearly every possession and let him go to work. But I don't know if that would mess with the Suns' flow and their offense, and I don't know how Chris Paul would feel about that. But you might be onto something. And think about it. I said this with DeAndre Ayton. If DeAndre Ayton would have had one of those big games tonight, if Mikal Bridges would have had one of those big games tonight, it would have been a blowout. And you know, I said that Tobias Harris was invisible, but at least Tobias Harris put up 18, 5, and 5. That's pretty damn impressive. Mikal Bridges had like 5 points in this game. I was going to ask you, obviously the Suns bench had hold on, I'm having some audio issues here. What let me see. The Suns bench here, they had what am I looking for here? I'm messing up.
Can I just add one more thing about Mikal Bridges?
Yeah, go for it. Trying to find my
you notice whenever he does like those jump shots, it's because he has to. Like it's always at the end of the shot clock. That's when he really like opens up and tries to take it off the dribble and shoot a jump shot. But other than that, it's just spot up threes and he's just sitting in the corner.
Yeah,
and then he'll get like fast break points here and there. But he's still a very good defender, so he brings on that end of the floor every night.
For some reason, I can't find the Suns like bench points and what they did, but I was going to ask you what you thought of the Sixers bench tonight, because I'm looking at a lot of low numbers here. I mean, Tyrese Maxey, 6 points, Matisse Thybulle, 5 points.
They were booty cheeks, bro.
Yeah, I feel like you guys just played your starters tonight.
Yeah, it was the bench is a concern, but the Phoenix bench, I'm trying to do some addition, but my math is very bad.
I just can't find the actual Suns bench points and what they finished with, but I know that it was huge.
47 bench points for the Suns.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
11 points out of Etuan Moore, who he just has a bucket for some reason.
Dude, Etuan Moore, I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, the Suns were obviously down a lot of players. By the way, this was the first or second game this season where the Suns literally had everyone on their roster active. But even before that, Etuan Moore, man, like his numbers, they're not mind-blowing, but he's been hitting big shots. He's been playing smart basketball. He kind of has had to embrace that point guard role, kind of, but he's embraced it, and he's been playing good, man. Like, I thought he did good in this game. He's a floater god.
Yeah, he honestly kind of he was really key for the Suns to, like, keep in this game, because remember early on, like the Sixers were kind of taking control, and then the benches came in and Etuan Moore was on fire. Cam Johnson also had 9 points, but
kind of invisible.
Cam Johnson's hair, bro. I can't support him with that hairdo. I'm not gonna lie.
Go ahead.
Jay Crowder as well played 33 minutes. That's what I like to see. I always say Jay Crowder should be playing starting minutes. He doesn't have to start, but he should be playing starting minutes, because he reminds me of Danny Green. Like a lot of Sixers fans get on Danny Green if he's missing shots. And I say this, Danny Green's always in the right position. He's never getting in the way of players. And it seems to me for the Suns, that's how Jay Crowder is, just always in the right position. And that goes unnoticed.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I mentioned that in one of my recent videos. That's the kind of impact that Jay Crowder has on this team. And he played really well tonight. But he especially played good on defense. He hit some big shots. What was I gonna say? I had something. The Suns shot in the third quarter. The Suns shot 71% in the third quarter. Sixers shot like 63% in the third. Um, I was good. Oh yeah, Cam Johnson. So for those of you who do not know, I actually found Romp's channel because of a Cam Johnson video that he made, a really good one. And I feel like Romp is the biggest Cam Johnson hater because of
No,
his hair.
it's just because his hairdo. Like I love the guy, I love how he plays, but like that hair, even my mom was like, well, "What is that?" Like, and when my mom's saying something, you know it's right because moms are always right. So like, I can't support Cam Johnson. I'm sorry, just he needs to cut it, and when he does, I'll be on the Cam Johnson hype train.
Cam Johnson had 24 minutes tonight. He only had 9 points, but he played aggressive. I mean, he didn't really have one of those Cam games where he had like 15 or 20 points, but those 9 points were big. He was aggressive in this game. And this is one reason why I was being such a critic of the Suns team is because we haven't really seen the Suns like clicking on all cylinders. And tonight, this was kind of one of those games against a really impressive defensive 76ers team. And I saw a stat earlier too that headed into this game. The Sixers are like fifth in defensive rankings at 108 points per or 108 per game. Obviously they're a great Sixers team. Sorry to rub this stat in your face here, but the Sixers are now 14-2 when they have that starting lineup in. I don't know, but the Sixers are really good. Obviously, they're going to be an elite team down the road. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to go far in the playoffs. But I'm just super excited we got this W. We kind of talked about it before. I think I knew this game was over like when the Suns hit 113 points.
Yeah. In the fourth quarter, when I saw Chris Paul hitting everything, like the Sixers weren't playing bad defense, and then Devin Booker just pulled up from I don't even know, Switzerland, and he hit a step back on Ben Simmons. I think they had previous lovers that didn't they date the same girl or something. So like I feel like there was some beef there in the beginning because Ben was like very hyped for the first half, and then Devin Booker hit a three and was like talking trash, and I kind of liked it. You know what I'm saying? I want Ben Simmons to get that attitude, but he's a little baby. I'm just gonna say that. but yeah, it was a fun game to watch, bro.
No, it really was. I think this is one of the more fun, entertaining games for the Suns season. I mean, you're obviously a big Sixers fan, so you're saying that it was a good game on the Sixers end too. Let's go into the chat real quick. We got tons of people in here. I appreciate everybody who is watching. Devin Booker just showed who he is, period. I think Devin Booker kind of has snapped out of that little funk that he was in. He's just playing a lot smarter. He's being a lot more aggressive. He's scoring the ball. Lennon Wolf, the AZ Sports fan, says 5 straight wins for the Suns. I think your Sixers play the Jazz next. Is that correct? That's going to be tough, man. But then again, the Suns play the Nets coming up soon. So
after losing 2 straight, that's a must win for the Sixers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you say must win because it's like we're early in the season still.
You know what's crazy? The Suns just beat the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference record-wise, the Bucks and the Sixers.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. And they beat the Celtics, but that was the undermanned Celtics, but still an impressive win.
Yeah, Pedro makes a good point here that Devin Booker seems to always have a good game against the Sixers, and it's true. I think statistically, Booker really does have good games against the Sixers. We have a super chat here. Big shout out to Richard, who says the Suns somehow beat the 76ers Lakers, but will still somehow lose to lower record teams like the Pistons. Exactly. Welcome to Phoenix Suns basketball. Really the past few years, like even when we had Rubio, that would happen. You got any thoughts on that, Rump?
I will say this. That was a problem with Brett Brown. But that's all I'll say.
Tell us how you really feel, Rump.
I don't know. Suns Geek always here complaining. And complaining when they lose. He does when they win. Suns Geek is like, oh, they're going to the finals. But when they lose, he's crying all night. And then one night he called me, and I was like, what is Monty Williams' biggest issues? And he was like, lineup sometimes. We lose to bad teams. And I was like, that sounds a lot like Brett Brown. And then I was like, oh, crap. Monty Williams was with Brett Brown. Maybe Monty Williams is Brett Brown 2.0, but let's just wait and see on that.
Yeah, we'll see, man. It's still really too early. I mean, Monty's only in his 3rd year with the Phoenix Suns, but lineups and rotations have been an issue for Monty Williams. If you're a hardcore Suns fan, you know that. Even if you're like a casual fan who follows the Suns, I think you kind of know that. So big shout out to Richard for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Khaled says start Dario over Frank. I will say, even though Dario was the player of the game, I haven't even talked really much about Dario, and we should be. I give Dario a little bit of time to come back. I mean, he's just coming back. Hasn't played in 33 days, like I said, or something like that. But yeah, Dario Saric tonight, let's look at it. 20 minutes. He did all of this within 20 minutes. 15 points, 4 steals, 4 assists, 5 for 10 from the field. He played so well tonight. And then let me look at Frank's numbers. I feel like Frank was horrible tonight. 11 minutes. Jeez, 11 minutes, 2 points. But I think that's probably just because
Say the reason I think the reason Dario started, like Suns Geek was trying to say, is because he just got back. But once Dario does like kind of get some
can you hear me?
once Dario gets some games under his belt, I think
Am I in here?
You're a black screen, bro. I'm trying to hold it.
I'm scared. Start cam. We're having technical difficulties over here. There we go. Sorry about that, guys.
Someone commented Suns Geeks. A JV said Suns Geeks a better rapper than Cardi B.
Yes. Where is that comment? I need it in my life. Oh
my God.
Yeah, it was weird because I heard everything you said, but I wasn't like in the stream. My fucking internet connection, man. I'm like complaining about internet connection.
Wait, did you
what?
Did you think I was just laughing at you?
No, like I knew something was good. I don't know. Yeah, JV's like, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
That was so funny.
Are you crazy? Frank almost had a triple-double last game and playing well this week. That's what I'm saying, Pedro, is like Frank deserves to be starting for now. Monty Williams gone on record saying that he is going to start for now. Oh, here we go. For Suns Geek has been rapping under his basement.
I will say this about the whole Dario starting thing. Like, if you could get away with Frank in the starting lineup not playing too bad, like having Dario off the bench is only going to help the bench out. So, like, Dario not starting is not a bad thing. Like, I feel like too many people look at like the starting lineup and like the starting lineup doesn't matter to me. It's just who's playing at the end of games. And obviously Dario is going to be in there instead of Frank at the end of games. So
who do you think is that player for the Sixers in your opinion?
Like Shake Milton, he could start, but I'd rather him off the bench.
He's got to be a little more consistent too, you think?
As you saw tonight, our bench is trash without him. Yeah.
No, I agree. And that's the thing. I mean, even when the season started, I was like, we have Jay Crowder, man. Like, Dario needs to come off the bench. And he really – I know that there was a lot of impressive performances in the bubble, but Dario Saric played really well in the bubble, and that's why he got that 3-year, kind of max extension. And that's why it was really rough with him being out, is because Dario showed why. And now I don't think Dario is going to play like this each and every single game, but he showed why he's a huge impact for the Suns. And he was obviously the player of the game, despite Devin Booker having a great game. Dario Saric is the player of the game. I'm just looking at my notes here and seeing if I'm missing anything. Any other thoughts or anything? I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about.
I honestly think this little stretch might get Devin Booker into the All-Star game because the Sixers commentators, I don't know if you listen to them, but they were just loving D-Book. So you got to keep in mind he might not be leading in the fan vote, but honestly, I don't think the fan vote even matters.
Yeah.
I think the coaches and like all those other votes, they're going to respect D-Book because first of all, the Suns are 4th in the Western Conference, and that conference is unbelievable.
Right.
And he's putting up freaking 26 points per game in February. And he just took over that game with He took over that game with Joel Embiid, the MVP right now of the season, and Ben Simmons. So and against the best team in the East. So I think he might get in there, honestly.
No, I mean, I hate to admit it, man, but Joel Embiid absolutely just destroyed DeAndre Ayton. And it was funny, too, because Embiid just did a bunch of jump shots. He was just aggressive. Ayton just didn't want to play any defense on him. And
I think Ayton actually played good defense. Like, he forced Embiid to the shots that he wanted Embiid to take. It's just Embiid's mid-range is unbelievable this season.
Yeah.
I think
Ayton has a mid-range game. He's just not as good as Embiid.
I think Embiid should have went to the post more, but it's whatever it is.
That's why I brought that up. I was like, he wasn't real. Like, I mean, he did have some points in the paint, but I just saw a bunch of mid-range shots. And Ayton, again, he can do the same thing, but he's not as consistent from the mid-range as Embiid is. Embiid just got any shot that he wanted tonight on DeAndre Ayton. But we've talked about it before. Ayton does do a lot of things that don't show up on the box score, kind of like Jay Crowder. I saw a stat here. The Suns, they won their 5th straight game. They're 8 out of 9, or 8 out of their last 9 since they went 8-8. That's pretty damn good. The Suns are clicking on all cylinders right now. Fingers crossed it stays like this for the rest of the season. Devin Booker, 36, 5 and 4, 14 from 23 from the field. We haven't even talked about Chris Paul, man. 18 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. This guy is the king of the mid-range shot. He is just – let's hear it from a Sixers fan. I mean, obviously CP3 is a Hall of Famer. We all know how good he is. But, even last year, he was amazing.
35 years old. Just completely took over the fourth quarter. I mean, you literally can't stop his mid-range jumper.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So he's just a great leader. And honestly, when the Suns got the lead, I was scared to death because I was like, whenever Chris Paul and Devin Booker shoot, I think it's going in.
Yep.
It's kind of like how Embiid is. Whenever he shoots, I think it's going in. So when the Suns get a lead, I don't know how that's been for them this season. I think you said it's been a problem.
Yeah, it's been a problem.
I don't understand that because at least for when they have a lead in the last 5 minutes, I feel like it's hard to get up on them because just give the ball to Devin Booker, give the ball to CP3. And that's also why I don't think you have to force feed DeAndre Ayton in the offense. I don't think a lot of Suns fans I've been hearing they want DeAndre Ayton to score more, but honestly, with this team, how it's assembled, I don't think Ayton has to score that much. And honestly, I think it disrupts the offense when you're trying to force feed him in the post. That's just my opinion.
And that's the tricky thing, too, because when you don't get DeAndre Ayton involved, he kind of just checks out of the game, in my opinion. Chris Paul, Monty Williams have talked about it. They're like, we got to get DeAndre Ayton the ball. But you're right. That kind of messes up our flow in the offense, and it could probably take Mikal Bridges out of the game offensively. And that's the weird thing, too. It's the Suns go on these leads, even if it's just by 10 points. And apparently we're a top 5 defensive team, which tonight we did show. But I don't trust when the Suns have a lead. I feel like I shouldn't be saying that. But then again, tonight, we saw it all night. The Suns kept the game close. This game was never out of hand at any point. Even for the Sixers in a way, the game until the last couple of minutes, the game was never really out of hand. Sixers did a great job of responding every time the Suns took a lead. It's just a weird season, weird team for the Suns this year, but I'm not complaining. I mean, we're 16-9, and we, like I said, 5 straight wins, 8 out of their last 9 since we were 8-8. The Sixers are obviously one of the best teams in the league. What are you guys 18-10 now? 18-9,
I think after this loss.
And again, if the Suns didn't miss those 3 games due to the postponement, we probably have the same record as you guys.
Do Suns fans like complain about Aiden not posting up enough?
Yeah, and sometimes I do too. But
see, I think a lot of people get in that. Even like for Porzingis, like a lot of people are like, "Dude, just post up. You're 7'3". But a lot of people don't understand. Like posting up is taxing. Like especially against these NBA players. Like for DeAndre Ayton to post up against Embiid, like that would take a lot out of him. And then he has to go back on the defensive end and guard.
He's terrible at getting back on
like
defense.
It's just a lot. And
yeah,
like I think it's easier just to say, like, for me as a Sixers fan, oh, Embiid, go post up every possession. Like that, it's easy to say that, but it takes a lot out of the players, and it's easier said than done.
And that's the thing. I mean, obviously the game has changed and evolved. Ayton is so much more finesse than he is power. He's not going to be doing that against Joel Embiid. He kind of does it on Jokic. I mean, he only really does that when he has like a smaller guy on him or a mismatch. But even then, he just shoots the mid-range. He is good and capable at the mid-range. But I totally agree. And that's the thing. You said it perfectly. If Ayton did do that every game, if Chris Paul got him the ball in the post and he posted up every game, he would be terrible on the defensive end because DeAndre Ayton does not like getting back on defense. He does need to get in better shape, in my opinion. I mean, obviously he's in NBA shape. He's an NBA player, but like he's not in that great of shape.
Plus, if you're trying to force feed DeAndre Ayton, like I watched them against the Grizzlies. I think it was on TNT. Like it was a couple weeks ago. That
was one of Aiden's best games of the year.
They were really force feeding him though, and like sometimes it kind of felt awkward. It was like, do you really need to keep doing it? But I think the next step for Aiden, in my opinion, if he wants to like reach like Jokic and Embiid status, is like handling the ball. Like because Embiid, you saw tonight, like the Suns were doing a great job of forcing him out of the post. Yeah. And like even if that does happen, Embiid still has enough handle where he could get the ball and kind of just get to his spot when he wants to. But and it's the same thing with Jokic. But with Aiden, he never dribbles. And when he does dribble, you're kind of like, oh, God, that's not good. Yeah, so I think that would be the next step for him. I think a lot of people don't really say that. But I never even seen him dribble, to be honest.
No, it's pretty bad when he dribbles the ball. It's a little scary and a little alarming when he dribbles the ball. But he has that potential to dribble the ball, take it to the rim, and just flush it down. But he never does it. He used to do that all the time in college. Doesn't do it really in the NBA. JC kind of makes a good point here. After Galloway, Carter, and Payne all deserve minutes, but it's hard to play them all. That was Monty's problem. Not problem. That was Monty's good problem tonight, was that he had everyone available. So who do you give minutes to? And Monty Williams is the kind of coach where he's like, if you're playing good, I'm going to keep you in the game. He prefers to play veterans over the young guys. But there was a stretch where Langston Galloway deserved more minutes. We didn't see any Abdel Nader tonight unless it was like at the very end of the game. A lot of Suns are playing good right now, and it is hard to give minutes to these players. I wouldn't want to be in Monty's shoes in that position. I'm sure the Sixers have been put in that position a lot this year. You got any thoughts on that? Because we've talked about Langston Galloway and how he deserves more minutes.
Yeah, I think you could throw Javon Carter in there, even though he's not shooting well.
He's not shooting that well this year. It's been tough for him.
I mean, even if you put him in for defensive purposes, I mean, you could say that about a lot of players, and I think it's a good problem to have. If anyone goes down with injuries, then Nader is a quality player and can step up. Same with like Etuan Moore, same with Javon Carter. The one thing I did write down early on in my notes was I wrote down some concerns for the Suns, and first off, it was big man depth.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that's a big concern for me for the Suns because they were playing Dario at the 5. In this game, it did well because it kind of forced Embiid out of the paint. Yeah. But like I said, in a 7-game series, Dario playing at 5 is just not going to work.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And again, it's like we don't know if Dario Saric is going to play like this all season long. But yeah, our big man position is bad. And when Ayton has games like he did tonight where he's basically non-existent, even if he did play a little good defensively, it's alarming. Damian Jones is not good at basketball. I was hyping that guy up when we first got him. I was hyping that guy up when we first
Bro,
got
you gotta
him.
add him on Twitter.
But he's just, oh man, Suns fans hate him. Although he's super athletic. And then Jalen Smith for some reason just doesn't play. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I don't know, with these coaches I've been noticing they don't like to play young guys. But I mean, the Suns, why not just throw him in there, see how he does? Like, I don't think he would be that much worse than Kaminsky. I know Kaminsky's been playing well, but
Yeah.
I don't see how, like, a lot of people are criticizing the Suns for not drafting Tyrese Halliburton, but you never
Right.
really seen Jalen Smith. So I think it's way too quick to judge that. And I think he's a good player. I don't know what's going on. I think he had COVID issues. So
Yeah, it was COVID and a little bit of injuries, but I don't know. Like, he's putting up shots after games, and Monty says he loves his work ethic, but like, I just don't give the guy at least 5 minutes, put him in there. Put him in the second quarter. Even I don't know, man. But yeah, Suns fans want to see Jalen Smith. I want to see Jalen Smith because we just don't know what we got out of him. And we probably won't know, unfortunately, for a few years. And for those few years, it's going to be tough because Suns fans are going to be like, oh, we made the wrong pick. But again, we haven't seen anything out of Jalen Smith. JC says, Damian Jones is the worst player in NBA history. Stop, Suns fans. There's worse players out there. Okay, at least Damian Jones is still in the league. Jalen Smith should get more minutes. Sawbucks, a big supporter of mine, says the Suns asked Dario not to play for a while because he wanted to challenge. I can't read I can't read. Dario on the Suns is not fair for the rest of the league. Yes, Sawbucks, Dario Sarge is the MVP of the league. That's why I took away from that just now.
Yeah, Jalen Smith, bro. I don't see why they can't give him some minutes, like just here and there, see what he got. Because if you don't play him at all, you're never going to play him in the playoffs.
Yeah, Jalen Smith.
Give him a chance, and maybe if they give him a chance, he could be a nice playoff piece. But if you never give him a chance, there's no chance at that.
Yeah, Abe says Jalen Smith could be a good player someday, but pretty defensible to not draft Tyrese with how he's been playing with Sack. He's a perfect fit with Book and CP. And someone mentioned Campaign earlier. Campaign had like a really good possession and then was kind of invisible at the end of the game, or really throughout the game. But that's just because he's getting back from injury too. But when Campaign is when he's playing good, man, like he had a great performance in the bubble before he went down. This was Campaign's first game in like 20-something days. Andrew says Smith plays like Ayton, I believe, dunks and mid-ranges. Yeah, and they're both pretty good rebounders, too. DeAndre Ayton's been really good on the rebounding end, especially offensively. He's really improved his offensive rebounding. That's one flaw, in my opinion, with the Suns, is they just need better rebounders, man. Like, the Sixers will take a shot, and everyone just clears out. You know what I mean? Like, they just don't want to go get the rebound.
I would like to see a lineup with Jalen Smith and Sarge. I think that would be fun.
Yeah. No, that'd be cool. Let's see. Damian Jones is not Zaza, guys. Chill out, says Roy. Shout out to Roy, man. That's the homie right there. But yeah, Jalen Smith needs to get minutes for sure. Do you have anything else, Romp? I mean, we could talk Suns and Sixers basketball for hours, but
what else you got for me?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm looking at the
concerns?
box score right now. What are your concerns for the Philadelphia 76ers if we didn't talk about that already?
What are my concerns? I would say depth, I guess.
Yeah, tonight it showed that.
At the same time, depth is like kind of overrated in my opinion because in the playoffs you're only playing 6 to 7 guys, so that's not really a worry. I would say the 3-point shooting is kind of concerning. Like we're getting beat every night on that end of the floor.
Yeah.
So that's a concern. That's about it. And another concern is like these games where just Tobias is not, even though he put up 18, he just was invisible in my opinion. And then Ben Simmons kind of he just did not be aggressive in the second half. And pretty much all our scoring was Embiid. So that's the scary thing for the Sixers because early on in the season, we were winning games, but no one was showing up. Like the first 2 games, Tobias Harris was struggling and Ben Simmons, and people were like, oh, this is just the same Sixers team as last year. So that's a concern. We just need consistency from Tobias and Ben.
And would you say you need consistency from Seth Curry? I mean, I think he's been playing really well. I think it was a great pickup for you guys. But, I mean, Doc Rivers even said you guys need three-point shooting, and you went out and got three-point shooting. He obviously has that connection with Seth Curry. Isn't his daughter, like, married to him or something?
Yeah, he is. But I'm not really concerned about Seth Curry. I think
he's played really good this year.
When players like Danny Green and Seth Curry struggle, I kind of don't hold them to as high as a standard as Tobias and Ben and Joel.
Exactly. Because they're like the all-star. They're your big 3.
Yeah, when we lose, I usually blame those players rather than like Seth Curry. So that's kind of what I do.
Right. No, I agree with that, man, because there's games where I'll blame Booker or I'll blame DeAndre Ayton. I never blame Chris Paul because he's Chris Paul. But again, man, you know, if Mikal Bridges gets it going again offensively, and if DeAndre Ayton plays like that 1 week where he was nominated for Player of the Week, this team is going to be scary to beat. 5 wins in a row for the Phoenix Suns. They're playing great right now. Even before this 5-game win streak, like before we lost to the Pelicans, we had won like 3 in a row. Now, granted, I think it was against the Warriors and the Mavs, but Steph and Luka. Just the Suns are playing really good. I'm seeing if there's any other questions here. I thought Smith was a rim protector and a shot blocker, but he hasn't shown that yet. I guess really the big criticism with Jalen Smith is, you know, he's a 20-something-year-old rookie, and in the preseason, he really just didn't do much. He's a confident shooter. He'll straight up just pull up and drain a 3, but he doesn't really do much. Monty Williams has talked about like the game just moves really fast for him, but again, I just don't know why he's not getting minutes. Sabak says, when is Simmons going to be requested to cut from the Sixers so the Suns could sign him for the minimum? Sabak's crazy, man.
That dude is drunk, but Jalen Smith has played a total of 29 minutes in 6 games. So he's just not getting the time. And the rookies need time because they need to make mistakes and learn from it. That's what I remember for the Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr. wasn't playing last year, and I was like, dude, just play him. Yep. I know he sucks at defense, but in order to get better at defense, you got to play. And then during the playoffs, all of a sudden you see Michael Porter Jr. going off. So, like, I think you just got to give these rookies some playing time in order to make mistakes before the playoffs, so you know what you have in all your players.
Exactly. If you and I were coaches, that's exactly how we would coach our team.
I don't know why they're not paying us millions of dollars to coach. What the hell is this?
Exactly. No, and I don't know, man. I mean, Tyrese Maxey at least gets minutes. I know that he's a better scorer than Jalen Smith, but still.
Not recently. He really hasn't.
He's kind of fallen off, man. No offense. I know that you're the biggest Maxey fan ever, and I'm cheering for the guy. He had that great game when the Sixers were completely wiped out, and he went off like 39 and 7 or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, someone said in the chat too, you guys need Shake back.
We need Shake.
Maybe Shake is proving to you guys that he is a valuable piece.
I mean, with Tyrese, he's just not getting the minutes. When he gets the minutes, he produces. Like, he only got 10 minutes tonight, only 13 against the Blazers, but then you look against the other game against the Blazers, he had 21 minutes, he put up 15 points. I think he's the type of player that needs to get in a rhythm. Plus, you could tell he's not confident in his shot. He's only shooting like 30% on the year from 3. But I think just over the years, he's going to get comfortable with his shot. I mean, he has the confidence. Even when he's missing, he's still shooting, which is great. And defensively, he's not a liability too much, which is good in year 1. So I'm not concerned with Tyrese Maxey. It's just about Doc giving him minutes. And with Shake Milton out, he's going to get minutes. But with that bench squad that they have right now, it's pretty much Tyrese Maxey doing everything without Shake. And that's just too much to ask as a rookie. So it's going to bring out his flaws.
Before we keep going here, you guys, make sure to Hulk smash the like button. Make sure to go subscribe to Romp 2.0. Link is in the description. He makes great basketball content, one of the biggest Sixers fans I've ever met in my life. And by the way, one of my good friends, Matt, who lives in Arizona, was at the game today, rocking Sixers jerseys. It was awesome to see. He's a huge Sixers fan. I wanted to, if you don't mind, if we can keep going for a few more minutes here, I wanted to read you the Sixers remaining schedule and then the Suns remaining schedule. So starting with the Sixers, and you can just give your opinion here. They got the Sixers got the Jazz next. I'm kind of reading the more important games here. They got the Jazz is a must win for you guys. And then you got a couple winnable games against the Rockets and Bulls. Then you go back to back against the Raptors. Then you got Dallas, Cleveland, Indiana, and Utah. That is a tough schedule to finish that's the end of the first half of the season. You got any thoughts on that?
I'm not really scared, to be honest. The thing about this team,
I don't know, man. That's a tough schedule.
The thing about this team and having Doc Rivers is I've noticed we do not lose to bad teams, so that's good. And then I just think we have to go 2-2 on this road trip. We cannot go 1-3 on this road trip. We have to beat the Jazz, and if we don't beat the Jazz, then I'm like, I'll just be pissed off for at least a week. I will not talk about Joel Embiid for a week. I refuse.
Whoa, chill, man. That's like an MVP this year, bro.
No, I'm just kidding. I'll still talk about him.
I feel like if you guys do lose to the Jazz, it probably won't be Joel Embiid's fault, in my opinion. We'll have to see. I'm actually really excited for that game. So let me read you the Suns' remaining schedule for the first half. We have Orlando, which that's a game. I've said this before. We got to see how Ayton plays against Nikola Vucevic. Then we got the Brooklyn Nets. I'm scared of that game. Pelicans, Grizzlies, Portland, 3 tough matchups. My favorite team in the East, the Charlotte Hornets, the Bulls, the Timberwolves, the Lakers, and Warriors. So you could argue both of our teams have kind of tough schedules coming up.
Yeah. For the Suns, I think they'll be good. I think that the way they play, they're going to be in every game. It's just whether if they can close or not.
Yep. And I've been their biggest critic of that.
Vucevic is probably going to destroy Aiden. I'm not going to lie. That dude just had like 2 40-point games, I'm pretty sure.
Vucevic is one of the more underrated centers in the league, probably of all time. I'm serious. Like, when we talk about the greatest centers of all time, he never gets discussed. He's an Orlando Magic legend. And again, I kind of pointed this out on your schedule and mine. There's some games there that they might look like winnable games, even for the Sixers. But I feel like, Sixers got to win these games, man. And so do the Suns.
I'm not scared of bad teams.
I am, because the Suns lose to bad teams.
If we lose to bad teams, then it's very simple. We're not the team we think we are. That's how I put it.
So I made a video when the Suns finished their 20th game, and at the time, the Suns were like 6-5 against winning teams, and they were like 5-6 against losing teams. Obviously, now that's kind of changed. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm scared to play bad teams. I think it was the Valley podcast, said it's like a trap game when we play bad teams. That was kind of why I was surprised we beat Cleveland, because that's like a trap game.
Yeah, there's been trap games for the Sixers, like back-to-backs and against the bad teams. Like, back-to-backs, if you lose on a back-to-back, I really don't pay attention to that stuff. Like, that's just the NBA. Mm-hmm. But with this Suns team, I feel like it's their first year, like, being, like, a legit playoff team despite the bubble. So I think you're going to have problems with bringing the intensity every night. Even though you do have Chris Paul, it's still, like, a young coaching staff, too.
Yeah.
So, and then you got Aiden, who, you don't know what you're going to get from him. Yep. And you got Devin Booker, who's like just learning how to win, like actually win. And I think that affected him early on because you saw he was struggling, but now he's back to the deep book we all know and love. Yep. So I think that's just as expected for the Suns. But with my Sixers, I expect not to lose against bad teams because in the years past, that's been a problem. But now Embiid and Simmons have multiple years under their belt of winning basketball. So you can't lose those types of games unless it's like a back-to-back. Back-to-backs, you could lose here and there.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the COVID year, with all these games happening so quickly and barely any time off. And the Suns had 2 days off, by the way, prior to this game. So I was a little nervous about how they would start. I know that the Sixers had the night off, or I think it was the night off after that loss to the Blazers. But we'll have to see, man. It's funny because the first half of the schedule is winding down, but I feel like we still have a long season ahead of us. Do you want to keep going, man? I mean,
I'll keep going, bro.
I don't really know what to talk about, but I think this has been an incredible live stream. We've been live for 50 minutes. We still got like 30 something people in here. By the way, if you are here and you are signed on to your YouTube account, Hulk smash the like button right now. Just grab your little mouse and click it, or if you're on your phone, just go to your phone and click like. I'd really appreciate it, and go subscribe to Romp 2.0. Romp, do you want to tell people what you do on your YouTube channel?
I just make basketball videos, Sixers videos here and there, just story videos and just stuff like that. And I see Roy has a nice question for me. So,
let's go. You want to read it or should I?
What is Romp's thoughts on losing Mikal Bridges in the draft? Well, I feel like a lot of people look at that trade and they're like, oh, you got Zaire Smith. But like at the time, Zaire Smith was actually supposed to be good.
Yep.
Then he had some like off the court issues,
health issues,
nearly died. If just go look at his story, it's pretty crazy. So it's whatever. I'm kind of over it. I still love Mikal Bridges. I have his rookie card, so hopefully he keeps continuing to do well, so I could sell it and then like retire off of it. You know what I'm saying? So I still love Mikal Bridges. I want to see more out of him. I want to see some more jump shots. I want to see him run pick and rolls here and there. Just be like DeMar DeRozan, you know? I feel like that he can reach that level. I don't see why not. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Well, I totally forgot what I was going to say. My brain literally just went. Sons Geek, why do you look like Cody Zeller? Hey, Cody Zeller is a Charlotte Hornets legend. Cody Zeller reminds me of. Do you remember what's that guy's name? Nick Collison from the Thunder legend, Nick Collison, or something like that. I don't know, but
what are you talking about, bro?
You don't remember Nick Collison from the Thunder?
Oh, yeah, I do.
That was a monster, man. Suns don't know anything about off-the-court issues, Jackson, Morris twins. Dude, if you go back like a couple of years to my videos, it was probably a video about Josh Jackson getting into some kind of trouble. I do remember making videos about the Morris twins and how bad that was. Now, look, I know a lot of Suns fans want to give the Sixers trouble for what they did with Mikal Bridges, and rightfully so. But it's not like the Suns haven't made any bad draft mistakes. It's not like the Sixers have messed up before. Every NBA team has messed up in the draft. People pick on the Suns for not drafting Luka, but people forget that the Sacramento Kings had the second pick. The Hawks traded Luka. You know what I mean? That never gets talked about.
People forget that DeAndre Ayton was the outright number one pick. Everyone wanted to pick. Every mock draft was DeAndre Ayton. Same with the Markelle Fultz thing. Everyone's like, you guys should have drafted Tatum. Markelle Fultz was literally the next best point guard in the league.
And Jason Tatum was like an 18, 19-year-old sharpshooter from Duke, a freshman.
He was on mock drafts, had him at number 7.
Exactly.
So a lot of people forget that.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I keep losing my train of thought. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. This has been a great live stream, though, man. This is arguably probably one of my best live streams I've ever had. I was on fire, man. I was ready to go for this live stream.
Ready to go too.
Yeah. So if there's anything else you got to say, go ahead and say it now. Plug your channel. Say whatever you want to say. Talk crap about Cam Johnson's hair. Now's your chance, man.
All I got to say is Cam Johnson's hair just got to go. I think the Suns and Sixers could meet up in the future once again, if you know what I mean.
Do we play you guys? Oh, wait, we don't have the second half of the schedule.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about meet up again in the finals.
In the NBA Finals, Suns Sixers NBA Finals 2021.
You realize how fun that would be? We could do a post-game press conference after every game.
Dude, it would be insanity because all eyes would be glued on the NBA Finals and they would come to our channels, man. We could swap live streams, one on your channel, one on mine. Miggy says the Suns might win it all this year. You hear it first from me. I never had a wrong prediction for quite some time now. The way the Suns team is playing is fired.
Bro, I guarantee you this dude has wrong predictions. He just doesn't notice the wrong predictions. Hey, I do that too.
Dragon Bender is the GOAT. I have Dragon Bender's jerseys in my closet. I said jerseys. I love Dragon Bender, man. One of the biggest draft mistakes in Suns history, but still so young, man. Still so full of potential. I think the Sixers should sign Dragon Bender. I think he's playing like overseas right now.
I was reading like a Sixer thing, and they were saying that the Sixers should have got Frank Kaminsky when he was available. And I was like, he would actually be a pretty good fit.
Frank Kaminsky on the Sixers?
Yeah, that's what we need. We need a backup stretch five.
By the way, your video about Frank Kaminsky, man, I don't know why you unlisted that or whatever you did. That video was really good. And I think since he got waived from the Kings, he's been motivated. Now, he's not going to play like the way he's been playing recently all season long, but I think he's motivated to be in the starting lineup. Frank's been playing great. We've talked about this romp here. I said 8-0 before the bubble last year, but that's irrelevant. Was it you I was talking about? Like the Suns need to forget about the bubble? I was talking to somebody about that.
No, I said I feel like the bubble hurt you guys. Not like obviously 8-0 is great, but it kind of gave you guys unrealistic expectations, like because you guys were losing to bad teams early on and you're kind of struggling. Like you were almost out of the playoffs, but now you're kind of got together. And I think early on, since you guys had that expectation to win, it kind of like, I don't know, it kind of like ruined the fun for you guys in the beginning. But you gotta keep in mind the Suns haven't been a playoff team in like 18 years, and I hate to say this, but like, I hate to say this, but just making the playoffs for the Suns, that's literally the win. That's a win. Like just making the playoffs based on their past.
I'm not comparing us to the Boston Celtics like at all, but like I remember the Celtics were rebuilding for a long time, and if you look at their season by season, they've just gotten better each and every single season. That could possibly be the Phoenix Suns, because even last year, before the bubble, the Suns had won, I think, like 20-something games. That was like their highest they've won in years. They were like averaging like 22 wins a season. And then even again, before the bubble, Suns won like 29 games last year, something like that. They're probably going to win 40-something games this season, you know, if we don't get plagued by injury and all that. I'm just so excited for the rest of the season, man. I'm just getting caught up on some last-minute comments here. Roy says, you guys made my day. Thank you so much. Yeah, this has been one of the best live streams I've ever been a part of, even despite that internet disconnection that happened. I got to add that to the funniest moments, man. I'm going to clip that whole clip and just upload it for fun.
It's the funniest moment ever.
All right, man. So, yeah, once again, you guys.
One last question.
Yeah, go for it.
What is your expectation for the Suns this season? Do you think making the playoffs is enough, or do you think they have to win at least one playoff series for you to be satisfied? And also, people in the chat, you could let us know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, let us know your guys' expectations for the Suns the rest of the season. I would say this, I'm terrible. I never make predictions. I'm terrible with predictions. I said at least the Suns need to win 45 games. Now, yeah, I want the Phoenix Suns to make the NBA playoffs. That would be absolutely incredible because it would end that 10-year drought. The league would take us seriously. I think it has to – the Suns at least have to get to the second round. But the Suns are one of those teams that's like, I want to see the Suns actually get to the playoffs. You know what I mean? And – even if they won in like 6 games, I think that would be impressive. We kind of talked about it last night with like the Utah Jazz. Like, I want to see like where the Utah Jazz are after the first round of the playoffs. So get the Suns to the NBA playoffs, win 40-something games so they're eligible to get there. If things keep trending the way it is in the Western Conference, the Suns should at least be a 4th or a 5th seed. So let's see what the chat has to say.
I'll say this.
I think the Suns will unload Damian Jones at the trade deadline, probably.
Bro, who
Suns
wants
need to
it?
make it to the second round, says Roy. Second round, I think, is it. Because Western Conference Finals, it's like it's possible, but
I'll
that's
say
tough,
this,
man.
Geek.
Cautiously optimistic.
If the season ended today, you guys would play the Trailblazers in the first round.
That's not
So,
easy either.
That's the thing. The West is so hard. I think if I was a Suns fan, my expectation would be first make the playoffs, which is obviously going to happen. Actually, it's not that obvious because there could be injuries and it could because the West is so close. But I think they will make the playoffs. And if they do make the playoffs, I think they have to be competitive in the first round. If they lose like 4-1 or 4-0, then I would be pissed off. But if it's like a 7-game series, 6-game series, competitive series, like every game's close, then losing in the first round, I'll give it a pass. But if it's 4-0, then nah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And the thing I've always been big on, like with any NBA team, is like how much gas do they have in their tanks? You know what I mean? Like teams do get tired. Even though these are the best athletes in the world, these guys do get tired. It would kind of have to be like the Jazz and Nuggets last year, how that game literally came down to like the final possession, the final game. But yeah, a lot of people are saying second round, 5th and 6th seed, playoffs. That's the expectation. I think even at the start of the year, that was the expectation. Because I could be biased and say, oh, yeah, the Suns are going to win the championship. I said that every year. When we had Dragan Bender, I said the Suns were going to win the NBA championship. But that's just not real.
Say that out loud. Keep that in your mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
I'm just kind of reading the chat. I mean,
Jason was true. So Jason's comment was very true.
What's weird is that Ayton did what he was supposed to do. He kept Joel out of the paint. Yeah, but like Ayton should do so much more than that. He's DeAndre Ayton. He's the number 1 overall pick.
Number 1 overall picks have unrealistic expectations.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I have so many expectations for DeAndre Ayton, but at the same time, I'm his biggest believer. So many people trash Ayton. They slander him. But Ayton should be keeping Joel Embiid out of the paint and scoring 20 and 10 on him. You know what I mean?
Nah. Come on.
Exactly. But we shouldn't be saying that about DeAndre Ayton. Like, before this game, you should have been like, in a world somewhere out there, you should have been like, oh, I'm scared to play DeAndre Ayton because he's a good player. But obviously that wasn't the case. I was like, I'm scared to play Joel Embiid because he's playing at an MVP level.
What scares me about Aiden is Embiid came into the league and dominated right away, and there's been just go look at his stats. There's been stretches where Aiden has kind of dominated, but like there's really never been like where you're like, oh my God, he's going to be the best player on the Suns. And that's what scares me about Aiden. Like, is he ever even going to live up to like 25% of his potential?
So David says we have to forget about the number 1 pick. That's what's tough because you could be a top 5 pick and people will be like, oh, that guy was drafted 5th overall. I feel like Lonzo Ball is a victim of this category because he was the 2nd overall pick. And you could go down the road in NBA history. There's been so many top 5, 10 picks that have not panned out, and people always go back to that guy was a lottery pick. That guy was the top 10 pick. That guy was the 3rd pick in the draft. Unfortunately, we're not going to forget that he was the number 1 pick. I get what you're saying, David, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately, in my opinion.
I mean, that's the same with Ben Simmons for me.
Because Joel Embiid was like what pick? Like 5th? 4th? I don't know. But still, if Joel Embiid was playing like DeAndre Ayton, people would be trashing Joel Embiid.
Oh, he'd be out of the city.
Because I know, yeah, exactly. I know how Sixers fans are. They would be asking to trade him every day. They'd be rioting outside of the Sixers arena.
2 weeks ago, Simmons was out of the freaking Philly. Everyone hated him.
Exactly.
Now everyone loves him.
Romp.
After this game, I'm kind of pissed off at him because he did not show anything in the second half.
Hey, big shout out to someone you introduced me to, fellow YouTuber Super Mario Hoops. He has his own YouTube channel. Go subscribe. He's a nice guy. Definitely knows his NBA history, which I'm a big fan of. He says, Weird stat, but right now the top 9 seeds in the West are on win streaks. Going to be a tough route for Phoenix to make the playoffs.
This dude has the best stats ever, bro.
Just stats god, Super Mario Hoops.
He knows everything.
I get what you're saying, but like the Suns are the 4th seed right now, and they're on a 5-game win streak. But that's what's scary is if the Suns lost a few games, because again they were 8-8. At one point they were 8-8. They could fall down immediately. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I texted Ben Simmons. I was like, just lay off. The Suns get all the wins they can get because they're in the Western Conference. We are in the shit East, so we're good. Come on, give Suns Geek a nice little win for today.
If you don't mind, I'm going to check out the NBA standings in the East real quick. Sixers are 18-9. But then you got like the Bucks who are 16 wins. Brooklyn is playing really good. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They got 15 wins. Celtics, Pacers, Hornets, Raptors, Knicks.
Can I add something about Aiden? Because I keep thinking about DeAndre Aiden for some reason.
Go for it.
First off, his face pisses me off, but that's that's a different story. But I think he needs to add more weight, bro. Like, I don't know. I think he needs to add more weight. I think his handle needs to improve so he could actually dribble. And that's about it. I want him more weight, better condition. And Embiid struggled with that like for 7 years. So
that's Aiden's problem is he's not conditioned.
Even Jokic struggles with that. So I feel like big men have to play their way into like NBA condition. So it's kind of tough for them.
Yeah.
But I think adding strength would help them. And just having that mentality, like you saw Dario Saric tonight. He was going up against Embiid and he wasn't afraid of Embiid. Like
exactly.
Like, and it doesn't like. See, I say that, but people are just born with that mentality. Like Ben Simmons doesn't have that. Ben Simmons doesn't have the D book. I'm gonna take over mentality that I want him to have. You're just born with that. You either have it or you don't. And to say Aiden needs to do that, it's easier said than done, which is a scary thing.
Well, it's weird because DeAndre Ayton actually lost weight and he did get in better shape, but I've always said he's more finesse than he is power and strength. And I do remember Embiid was kind of out of shape his first couple of years in his career. DeAndre Ayton does have to get in better shape because we talked about it earlier. If DeAndre Ayton is posting up and let's say he scores on Embiid, he's going to literally walk up the court like this. You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't want to get back on defense. He's slow. I don't want to say he's slow, but he's just not quick enough to get back on defense. And it's funny because this guy realistically is better shape than both you and I put together. But compared to Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic and my boy Nikola Vucevic, it's like this guy, he's not in the condition that he needs. And that's what I've been saying about Zion Williamson. When Zion Williamson gets in like NBA shape, he's going to be scary, man.
That's true.
So Super Mario Hoop says, it will be a lot about who gets hot at the right time, which could be a boom or bust playoff time. Exactly. We're talking. Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
Roy says, what if we pick up Alex Len in free agency? Doesn't Alex Len like play for the Wizards now?
That's like, you do not want Alex Len.
At one point,
not bad.
I wanted Alex Len because, Damian Jones was not playing well. And that was before Frank went on his little tear. I was like, we should maybe get Alex Len. Big shout out to NBA YouTuber Symbiote NBA. Says, what's good, boys? Just stopping by and wishing y'all a good stream. Thanks so much, Symbiote, for being here. Go subscribe to Symbiote. Go subscribe to Super Mario Hoops. Go to the search bar. Find their channels. Go subscribe. Subscribe to Romp 2.0 while you're at it. My guest here. I keep saying we're going to end the stream, and then we keep going. So whenever you're done, man, just tell me you're done.
I could go over the Suns' problems.
Go for it, man. I mean, I'm just chilling, man. Like, it was an early game today. I just finished my energy drink. I'm just chilling, man.
If the chat has any questions, bro, just throw it out there.
Yeah, if you got any questions, guys, go. I said God. If you got any questions, go for it. Promo God, Suns Geek is at your service. That's me. But yeah, any questions, guys? I could read you some more stats and notes that I took here.
Charles just got here. He doesn't want the stream to end.
Charles just got here. I don't want the stream to end. What are your thoughts on a backup small forward? Now, I think Roy is addressing Abdel Nader. I don't know because the Suns, they just have like a lot of wings. They have a lot of positions, and it's like I don't know who would go get, because Abdel Nader, there was a small stretch where he was playing well, he was aggressive, he was arguably one of our best players for a small stretch, and that I'm saying that about Abdel Nader.
The Suns have so many of the same players. Like they got
You've said that a lot too.
Cam Johnson,
Yeah.
Abdel Nader. Obviously, some are better than others, but like they got players of the same archetype. Like too many. I feel like they need more, just big man depth. Like they need a backup center badly, because like Dario playing the 5 could work here and there, but like as a long-term solution, I would be scared as a Suns fan. And then you could play Kaminsky at 5, but as you saw, he looks way better at the 4 position. So even Jalen Smith is not a center. He's like a 4 to me. So it's just weird with the backup center thing.
Sawbucks is funny, man. Suns Geek has that Mamba mentality. Romp wants to end the stream, but Suns Geek refuses to let him. Just kidding. It's actually vice versa. I want to end the stream, but Romp keeps going. Is it me, or did Ayton look a lot more stronger in his rookie year than he does now? I don't know. Just me. That's what I'm talking about. Ayton was kind of, I don't want to say chunky, but he had a little weight on him, and then he comes back last year. He looked stronger. He looked kind of leaner, I guess is the word.
That's because Suns Geek, a lot of these centers are getting like skinny and scrawny, besides like Embiid and Jokic. And that's why I think you see Jokic and Embiid just dominating everyone, because physically it's just too much for Aiden and guys like that to handle. You good, bro?
Yeah, my neck just ow.
Yeah, but
I'm an old man.
I feel like the reason he may have lost weight is because like centers today need to guard 1 through 5, and run the floor. So that might be an issue.
So Super Mario Hoops says, question: assuming by playoff time more fans are allowed in arenas again, which the Suns don't care and they're just allowing everybody in, how much of an impact do you think that will have in how teams perform in the postseason? If you don't mind, I'll answer that question first. I think it's a huge impact. I mean, look at like Utah. You know, that's a team where those Utah Sixers fans, man. I mean, I feel like in some teams it matters. The players get motivated. You can tell which teams have good like chemistry off the court by the way their benches react. And that's a good question, Super Mario Hoops. I think it is an impact, kind of.
I'll say this: the Sixers were undefeated last year at home.
Yep, and they have a good home record this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were They were like 36-0, like for like a stretch at home. So
that's
the
insane.
fans in Philly helped the Sixers. I mean, if the Sixers are playing remotely bad, they will boo them out of the building. Like no joke. They will literally boo them, and they will motivate them. That's what happened last year. And the Sixers were trash last year. So if you can go undefeated with that team, with the crowd helping you, it's a big advantage. And I think that's why you saw some like iffy teams like the Miami Heat making the finals. Not saying they're still a great team, but I think having like fans like the Raptors playing at home, that environment is insane. So I think if the Raptors had fans last year, maybe they win that game 7 against Boston. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right now the best home teams are currently the 76ers, who have an 11-2 home record. The Bucks are 9-2 at home. I'll throw an honorable mention in there. The Brooklyn Nets are 11-5 at home. Utah Jazz are 11-2 at home. My Phoenix Suns are 9-4. Now, obviously, you know, the virus and fans haven't been in there, and it's a weird year because these games it's a different schedule. Like, you know, they're limiting travel, but still, you know, it's a home record, and I feel like the Sixers are a prime example of playing great at home. And I feel like the Suns in years past sometimes have played really well at home, even when the Suns were garbage. You know, it's like
Wait, Roy has a pretty good question.
Let's see what Roy's question. Sorry,
I can't answer that because JJ played.
Is it this one? Oh yeah, right here. So Suns Geek, what if we trade Carter and Payne for JJ Redick? Would you accept? I love JJ Redick. He's a great player, great shooter, veteran presence, smart as hell, basketball IQ. He's got his own podcast. Go check it out. But trading Cameron Payne and Carter, hell no.
Bro, JJ Redick is washed. And the only reason I would get JJ Redick is because Embiid and him have unreal chemistry. But other than that, he's washed, and he's when you watch him every game, you'll notice his flaws way more. But as an outsider, you see JJ Redick hit threes, but you never see his defense. His defense is terrible. He's getting slower and slower, and a lot of his success in his career is because he just runs around. And with him getting slower, he just doesn't have that capability anymore. So he's not worth giving up Payne and Carter, because I feel like the Suns, their three-point shooting's fine, right?
Yeah, a little inconsistent at times, but I don't think we're like the worst three-point shooting team in the league. And that's the thing. When we do great from three, we win games. I don't care if it's against the Sixers or the Lakers or Clippers. We win games when we hit threes. And you're talking about trading two of arguably our best bench pieces. I don't care if Javon Carter's had a bad year. Javon Carter brings it on defense. He brings that hustle. And I would love JJ Redick, but not for that.
You wouldn't, trust me. Defense over his three-point shooting, trust me.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying I would like JJ Redick on the team, but not for that price. Who wins in a shootout? Etuan Moore or Furkan Korkmaz?
I mean, like, who's ever hot? You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes Etuan Moore just ain't it, and then sometimes Korkmaz ain't it. But then you saw today, Etuan Moore wasn't missing.
True. Yeah, it would just depend on – I feel like it would depend on who is on a hot streak going into that shootout. The Suns have enough to win a title with this current roster. Yeah, maybe in a few years. The Suns have the most talent of any team in the West. Yeah, maybe in a few years. But dude, think about it, Romp. Like, it's easy to pick on the Phoenix Suns. You've been through this before. The Sixers were garbage in the process era. It was an automatic W. But now people are talking about the Phoenix Suns again, and the Suns are a legit team. And you could argue, even when we got Ricky Rubio, the Suns were like picking it up. They were picking up those pieces. You know, James Jones took over as GM, and just things changed. We got Monty Williams. It's like, I'm not saying the Suns are going to win the championship this year, but like the Suns are becoming a team again. And the new year, the new era just started, the new decade, 2020, 2021. It's like, it's the perfect time, you know? It's like, let's start the year off good and make the playoffs. And like I said with the Celtics, keep improving season by season, make the playoffs, go far in the playoffs. You can relate to that. You're a Sixers fan.
You know what's scary about the Suns? Devin Booker is only like 24 years old, even though it seems like he's been in the league for like 10 years now. And Chris Paul is going to teach him how to win. That's
Facts.
The only concern for me is I don't know if Monty Williams is that coach to win you a championship. I feel like he's a good kind of like setup coach. And then you get like kind of like how Mark Jackson was for the Warriors and Brett Brown for like Doc Rivers. I feel like Monty
and Sam Hinkie for the Sixers.
I feel
Rest
like
in peace. Sam Hinkie died for our sins.
I don't want to say that. Like, I feel like it's too early to say that, but I'm kind of getting like vibes about that, so I'm just gonna say it.
I feel bad too because Monty Williams, man, he's such an incredible person, such a nice guy. If that did happen, like if he was fired down the road, I'd cry. I would just film a video of me.
I mean,
crying.
I love Brett Brown. He's a great guy. He just was a terrible coach.
Brett Brown in here. Brett Brown in here. I love that video. Go check out Romp's channel. Check out his trailer for his channel. You'll see that clip right there. Again, you know, the Suns fans are very fickle like me, but Sixers fans, you guys are just passionate. You guys just tell it how it is, you know?
Yeah.
Like, isn't there that famous story that, like, Philadelphia Eagles fans, like, booed Santa Claus or something like that?
No. Come on now. It's because he was drunk. The Santa was drunk. That's why they were throwing it.
By the way, Santa Claus is real.
The media twists the story to make us Philly fans look bad. Some Philly fans could get crazy, but at the end of the day, Philly fans are the best in the world, in my opinion. Just the passion that we have is crazy. And And I'm not even like an Eagles fan. I'm just a Sixers fan. But even I that's my opinion. I mean, Phoenix obviously has passionate fans too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to talk about that too. When we were talking about DeAndre Ayton and how teams have messed up draft picks and yada yada yada. At the time, I've said this multiple times, and I will say it many, many more times in the future. If the Suns didn't draft DeAndre Ayton in 2018, I'm telling you, and I know this is kind of a bad word to use nowadays, the Suns fans would have rioted, and I'm not even kidding. Like if they would have said Marvin Bagley, the number 1 pick, or Luka or whoever, like I'm telling you, even if Luka would have turned out great, Suns fans would have rioted that day on draft day, and they had like a party then. They were at the arena. I'm telling you, it would have been bad. Now there was only a few people that thought Luka was going to be the number 1 pick, and rightfully so. You know, those were the people that actually did their homework and studied Luka and knew who he was. I barely knew who he was, coming overseas, and I just truly believe that. I feel like Suns fans would have rioted if DeAndre Ayton's name wasn't called, because he was. And I guess I'm going on a rant about this is because Suns fans can be passionate. I don't think they're as passionate as Sixers fans, but that's my rant about that.
Yeah, I think the Luka thing is a little crazy. Like, if the Suns did have Luka, you could say they would be better, but at the same time, I feel like there would be struggles with the Devin Booker and Luka duo. Plus, who's playing defense? Luka's a terrible defender. Devin Booker's like an average defender. So, like, everyone's like, oh, if we have Luka, but there would be problems, and no one knows how that would work out.
Yeah. And
plus, Luka freaking handles the ball 24/7. So
I'm just a really big what if guy, and it's not even with the Suns. I'm a big what if guy in the NBA, and it's like, what if Luka was just your average player with the Suns? If the Suns did draft him, and I could go all day. Like, what if Sam Bowie turned out good in the Michael Jordan draft? Because it was Hakeem Olajuwon, Sam Bowie, and the Michael Jordan. What if Sam Bowie stayed healthy? And just so many what ifs. And I know a lot of people don't like.
Worked out.
Yeah, what if Dragan Bender? By the way, I've tweeted this. I would love to see Dragan Bender and Marquise Chris on this current team, because Marquise Chris is currently. My dogs are like doing something over, but Marquise Chris is currently on the Warriors. He's currently injured on the Warriors, but he's been playing decent for them. It's like, give the guy a chance. I would have loved to see Bender and Chris on this current Suns team with this current culture. I'm sure Monty Williams would give them a nice ass kicking. So I don't know. What do I know?
Okay.
I need to have my Bender jerseys back here and just tell people that I'm a Bender fan.
You like Bender more than Devin Booker.
Dude, I was like Booker's biggest critic this whole season, except for recently. I need to make an apology video.
That dude's so good. And the Sixers announcers were freaking loving Devin Booker. That's all I got to say. Like, every play is like, how do you stop that? It's like, he had a freaking step back 3 over Ben Simmons right in his face. And, like, he's just a killer, bro.
I don't mean to expose Booker's game plan here, but Booker's been doing this one play where he draws in the double team late in games and either drives it to the rim himself like he did tonight versus Sixers, or he'll pass it to Bridges, who will find a wide open Cam Johnson for 3, or he'll give the ball to CP3, but he draws in those double teams, you know what I mean? And it works. But he's also just been aggressive and just following his shots and taking it to the rim, drawing fouls. He's been great lately.
When he gets in a groove, it's hard to stop.
Exactly. People are like, oh, Devin Booker needs to improve his defense. And, like, yeah, he does, but, like, he's an all-star. And this year he's proving it. Last year he got in because of Damian Lillard. Thank you, Damian Lillard. But this year he's proving it. He's an all-star. And like you said, he's only in his 5th year. He's 24, 25 years old. Dating Kendall Jenner is super hot. And Devin Booker, man. Did you see that ESPN thing with Michael Wilbon? Like, that was like media exposure.
What?
Devin Booker was featured in this ESPN article with Michael Wilbon. And it was incredible. It was a really nice piece. Go check it out.
I mean, the Suns are on national TV like every other day, I feel like.
Now they are. By the way, our next national televised game is against the Nets. I'm scared of that
Tuesday.
game. Yep, I'm
You
scared.
really shouldn't be. If you play, you're going to be in the game. I mean, if you play with that defense, you're going to be in the game because the Nets don't play defense.
Who do they got as their? Oh, DeAndre Jordan. I'm scared.
KD might not even be back. I don't know if he's back.
Yeah.
If KD's playing, then you should be scared. But then without KD, it's like just the Rockets. They're just the Rockets of years past.
Yeah. My dogs are currently getting in a fight, so you're probably going to hear some stuff in the background. Yeah, I think that's it, man. I think we've literally exhausted everything we needed to say. This has been arguably one of my best live streams I've ever done. So thank you guys so much for watching, everyone. Go subscribe to Romp 2.0 right now. Link is in the description. Romp 2.0, one of the biggest Sixers fans I've ever met. Fellow NBA YouTuber, one of my good friends. Thank you so much for being here, Romp.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for watching. Suns, what?
See you in the finals, bro.
See you in the finals. Suns Sixers NBA Finals 2021. Book it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe for everything Phoenix Suns. If it has to deal with the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to make a video about it. God bless you guys and take care.